Space, vast and limitless at first sight.
3, 2, 1, fire!
To quench our thirst for knowledge, study our planet and communicate, mankind has sent thousands of satellites into orbit around the Earth.
Satellites are absolutely crucial in our daily lives. They're everywhere.
But each time a satellite is launched, debris is jettisoned into orbit. Since the beginning of space exploration, this waste has accumulated, and the situation is close to running out of control. Flying junk is a danger to all other satellites and all future space missions.
We're generating debris faster than it can clean out by the atmosphere.
Sooner or later, there will be so much garbage in space that we cannot use it anymore for our satellites.
To avoid our space dreams turning to nightmares, we need to start cleaning up space. I'm not a moment too soon. Since the end of the 1950s, mankind has launched thousands of satellites into space. Rockets place satellites in orbit, where they follow an elliptical path around the Earth. They circle above our heads at incredible speeds for several years and undertake precise missions. For example, photographing the Earth to establish weather forecasts, relaying telephone, television, and radio signals between two locations on Earth. Or, in the case of military satellites, spying on other countries. Controlled from the ground, they are equipped with computers, cameras, and sensors. Fuel, batteries, and solar panels provide the energy required to accomplish their missions. Some break down, while others stop working when they run out of power. They become orbital debris, circling the Earth at over 17,000 miles per hour. Sometimes they hit other objects, generating thousands of smaller pieces. Today, nearly 1 million objects larger than half an inch have been counted. Being struck by orbital debris is a constant threat for all our satellites and risks sending our society into the past if nothing is done about it. The problem began 60 years ago. At the end of the 1950s, mankind realized that Earth's future was contingent on space. In the middle of the Cold War, the Soviet Union triggered the space race when it launched Sputnik, the world's first satellite. At the National Center for Space Studies in France, rocket scientist Christophe Bonal evokes the origins of the problem.
The orbital debris problem started at the same time as the first launch on October the 4th, 1957, with the launch of Sputnik 1.
After 21 days, Sputnik stopped working.
It was a non-functioning artificial object, what we call orbital debris.
Sputnik's brief existence came to an end when it disintegrated in the Earth's atmosphere 3 months after its launch. But the small satellite had global consequences. Determined to catch up with the Soviets, the Americans created NASA.
The Soviets' advance was extremely important to astronautics. The Soviets had all the firsts. First satellite launch, first person in space, and they raised the bar for the Americans, who had to increase their missions in order to catch up.
The Americans launched a series of 17 consecutive manned missions named Apollo.
Descend to 180 degrees. Prepare to jettison SIVB. Clearance is good.
At the time, nobody was concerned about leaving waste or even radioactive elements in space. From 1967 to 1988, the Soviet Union launched spy satellites fueled by nuclear reactors. But some of these satellites were defective. In September 1977, American radars noticed that Russian satellite Cosmos 954 was making erratic maneuvers. It was the first nuclear alert in the space age. On January the 12th, 1978, the Americans contacted Soviet authorities regarding the satellite. 2 days later, the Russians confirmed that they had lost control of their device. When the satellite re-entered the atmosphere, it scattered radioactive material all over northern Canada. The newspapers were quick to report the demise of the Russian satellite in North America. In the midst of the Cold War, it soon became clear that orbital debris could be a potential danger to the population on Earth. But it wasn't the only danger. Even launching satellites into orbit creates debris.
Each rocket launch has left debris in orbit. Old satellites have stayed up there, and that's what has led to the situation we find ourselves in today.
During the years of the space race, satellites were not the only items put into orbit. European Space Agency engineer Rüdiger Jahn has analyzed the orbital debris created by rocket launches.
When we launch a satellite, the first stage of the rocket provides enough energy to go 10 kilometers in altitude, and then it falls back into the ocean. The last stage takes the satellite into orbit, but then it also stays in orbit itself and becomes debris.
The upper stages of a rocket, along with fuel tanks and nose cones, are systematically left in orbit. Over the last 60 years, much of this debris has accumulated, while some has disintegrated. Working alongside the European space agencies, space scientist Noelia Sanchez-Ortiz analyzes the circumstances and the destiny of orbital debris.
Space debris come mainly from satellites that we have put in space. Once they stop working, historically we leave them there, and they remain orbiting around the Earth unless the satellite is placed in a very low orbit, and then it ends up falling in our atmosphere.
At low altitude, debris moves at speeds of 18,000 miles an hour. But the Earth's atmosphere gradually slows it down, and when pieces eventually fall to Earth, they are mostly destroyed. The air molecules are compressed by the speed of the debris, which creates heat and eventually combustion, causing the pieces to break up. During the day, there is little to see, but at night, this burning waste sometimes looks like shooting stars. Problems arise when this debris does not burn up completely in the atmosphere. In 1997, the 550-pound fuel tank of a Delta II rocket crashed near Georgetown in Texas. In 2001, the third stage of a Delta II rocket landed 150 miles from Saudi Arabia's capital, Riyadh. In 2011, the nose cone of a Soyuz rocket was found in Martinique. And in 2013, several titanium tanks appeared in the garden of an electrician in Texas. So far, nobody has been killed, but it's merely a question of time. In September 2016, the second stage of a Falcon 9 rocket crashed into an outbuilding on a small island near Java. It seems that sometimes the sky really does fall down.